We were talking about this off air, but listen to this headline. Blue Jays fans are eating hot dogs at a frankly alarming rate.
Frankly, that's clever.
That's pretty clever. So May 16th, I guess that was the last Looney Dog Day. 61,000 plus hot dogs were consumed.
61,000.
The attendance was 35,000 and change.
35,000. And wow. And how many didn't eat hot dogs?
Yeah.
How many they're saying vegans were there?
There's an expected hot dog stat, and the expected hot dogs that day, 44,000. XHD.
XHD?
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's bring in a guy, Jordan Horrobin, who told us off there that he once consumed 9 hot dogs at a Blue Jay game. Jordan, how do you pull that off?
Yeah, honestly, it's mental fortitude more than anything else. And what I did was I bought 5 before the first inning started and just housed those in the first inning, and then didn't feel so good after that. I think 5, I could have been done right there. But, I had talked a big game beforehand with my buddies, and, we had all planned to try to go for 9. And so I couldn't stop, obviously. And so I bought the other 4 and mostly was staring at them as the game continued, and then was able to just sort of, one bite at a time really is all you can do. And by the top of the 9th inning, I downed that 9th dog. So it was a proud moment. I won't be doing it again. It was a one-time thing, but it's there were eyewitnesses. So
yeah,
it's been
9
happening.
dogs is impressive. If I crush 9 dogs, because I just do mustard on my hot dog, maybe mustard onions, I think I'd be in an emergency with like acid reflux. It'd be a disaster. So credit to you. I'm surprised you're on this show right now, still talking about.
It was last month, so I survived. I had to get on the treadmill a little bit more, but we're back.
Yeah, I mean, nothing beats a good dog before a game, even during a game. So,
8 more beats a good dog.
But that's a lot.
You could do 9 dogs.
Yeah, you could definitely.
But who wants to actually do that?
You could touch double digits for sure.
No,
you could touch double digits.
I know I'm a bigger guy, but I can't even eat that much, honestly. A couple of dogs, I'm good to go.
You're like an absolute pig.
I can be a pig. I can swallow some. I'm not even going there. I can crush some serious dog. Let's just say that. Okay, let's talk about the Blue Jays. These guys are making fun of me here. I want to ask you this. Fill in the blank here. They lost again last night to the Yankees, 4-2. They lose the series 3-1. The reason the Blue Jays lost this series was what?
Offense. If I have to say one word, it's going to be offense. I mean, they had a lot of opportunities with runners in scoring position. That's how it goes in baseball. You're going to miss most of those opportunities, but as they really start to pile up, that's when it becomes pronounced. And even in the game that they won, that 3-0 walk-off with the Danny Jansen home run, I think they were something like 1 of 17 with runners in scoring position, something just obnoxiously bad. So this happens. It's an ebb and flow type of deal, but I would say, to lose 3 of these 4 games, barely scoring any runs, it was definitely the offense more than anything else.
1 for 25 with runners in scoring position over the final 2 games. Not good enough.
Not good at all. Jordan, with Vladdy out day to day, did this injury to him expose the lack of depth the Jays have in their lineup?
Yeah, I think it's certainly something people are talking about a lot right now, because you look at that bench and the 2 guys that really stand out are Santiago Espinal and Kevin Biggio, who I think Biggio's OPS plus entering Friday is 18, and that's on a scale where 100 is league average, and then Santiago Espinal is 32. And then here's another fun way to contextualize it. If you add up the standard OPSs of Espinal and Biggio, it is less than what Kevin Kiermaier's OPS is this year. So that's kind of a hat tip to Kiermaier, but it does show these are 2 guys on the bench, both of whom have had semi-regular, if not regular, starting positions with this team in the past, and it's been really, really bad. So and you look to the minor leagues, there's not really a lot of exciting options there right now. You have Otto Lopez, who you would hope would be able to kind of rise and take over a major league spot at some point here. He's on the 40-man. But his stat line kind of looks like a minor league version of Espinal right now. And then you have Addison Barger, or Barger. I think it's Barger, though. We'll get that right once he's a big leaguer. But he's a guy who rose really quickly last year, and he's injured right now. So he's not really an option, but somebody who, again, maybe at some point this summer gets a shot, and we could see how it goes.
I mean, depth is not an issue, obviously, but so too is the lack of power right now. That they reconfigure the Rogers Center, which you think would be, really friendly for those big bats in the Jays lineup. But right now, they're being shown up, it seems, by most teams at the moment. Is that just a matter of time before they come around and start hitting the home run? Or is it something more than that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a matter of Kevin Kiermaier right now being one of your best offensive players. And that guy's not going to hit a lot of home runs. He did have one kind of recently, but generally speaking, that's not his game. When you're stacked up against Aaron Judge and he hits 4 in a 4-game series, that's not going to reflect so well on the home team either. But I do think as it relates to kind of the renovations with Rogers Center, I mean, whether they meant it or not, the front office kind of expressed preseason that this wasn't supposed to have a huge impact on the offense. I think we won't really know that until we've seen it for a few seasons to see kind of how this plays out with the different wall heights and the dimensions and that sort of thing. But as it stands, you know, the Blue Jays the past couple of years have been one of the best, if not the best, home run hitting teams. And we are waiting still to kind of get that power to surge back.
Jordan, so if the playoffs started today, the Blue Jays would qualify as a wild card team, which means they'd have to play in a 3-game series. In that scenario, as of right now, what would your rotation be?
I love the if the playoffs started today questions in May. This is
so early. I know.
I wish they did.
They're a good team, so it's fair. We can be talking about this. What would the playoff rotation be? Okay, so Gosman has to be number 1, and I think I put Bassett 2, and this is where you're trying to get me to talk about Manoah, whether he's in there or not. And as of today, as you're saying, with the premise, he can't be in there today. So if the playoffs started today on May 19th, 2023, I think, yeah, you'd probably have to go, I mean, it'd be kind of a coin flip between Berrios and Kikuchi. Berrios has been pretty damn good recently, but I like Kikuchi a lot. I like that he's a lefty and would give, the opposing teams a bit of a different look. So I would probably lean Kikuchi, but I think you would have a real conversation on your hands there. And yeah, who would have thought at this point we'd already be talking about Manoah not being in that top 3? I have faith that he'll figure it out, and we won't be having the same conversation on September 19th about whether he'd be in that top 3, but we could revisit it then. As of right now, he can't be there.
Which we probably will. I mean, this Manoah thing doesn't seem like it's going to change anytime soon, but that's just based on just the eye test alone, right?
But the panic's not there because the other guys are pitching so well.
Thankfully.
That's what it feels like at the moment, right? Yeah. I mean, if Kikuchi was Kikuchi of last year and Berrios was Berrios of last year, then it'd be absolute all-out panic right now. But Kikuchi right now, 5-0, 3.89 ERA. If I told you those numbers before this season, what would you have said?
Well, I would have been a little bit surprised. I don't know if he would have been, because before coming to Toronto, really, he's been a good pitcher. I think he was an all-star with the Mariners the year before he arrived here. And, he's a guy who throws really, really hard from the left side and is, expects great things of himself, I'm sure. So I don't think he'd be totally surprised by that. Obviously, a 5-0 record with an ERA approaching 4, those don't necessarily, stay married to each other that long. But hey, he's been pitching well enough to at least keep them in games and give them chances to win. And that's what you need out of a guy who's in the latter half of your rotation.
So Jordan, last night I couldn't sleep last night. I was trying to watch the 4 overtime game between the Panthers and the Kings.
Oh my gosh!
So I'm on NorthStar Bets, and this is what I do. I start looking at futures, and I go to the American League Cy Young, and I'm like, okay, let's see who's here. I like this guy. I like this guy. Then I see Chris Bassett at almost 120-1 to win the AL Cy Young. I know that's a stretch, but based on the number alone, and based on what we've seen from him so far, would you say that is some serious value to be had with Bassett to win the AL Cy Young?
Yeah, it's very tough, especially when you look at a guy like Garrett Cole and Shane McClanahan, and even Ohtani, who's struggled a little more recently. Like the top end guys are still performing like top end guys. But yes, if you look at Bassett, and if everyone got one mulligan start, Bassett's definitely would have been his opener against St. Louis. And my goodness, what his numbers would look like without that start involved would be really scary. I'm sure he wouldn't be 120-1. So, maybe it's a couch cushion change type of situation where you throw a couple bucks at something like that. And who knows? I wouldn't probably do that. But hey, I mean, stranger things have happened. It's either you buy yourself a coffee or you hold on to a ticket for Bassett. So
I love that. Couch
could be
cushion
fun.
Bet. People say pizza money, couch cushion bet. I think that could trend. I like that.
Odds are kind of steep for me to do that.
Yeah.
All
What
my
do you
bets are
got?
couch bets, honestly.
Justify has a question about the Mariners. Eh?
No, I don't actually. I didn't know those Julio Rodriguez rumors were kind of bogus.
Fake rumors. Fake rumors
early. But Jordan, we saw an emotional series between the Blue Jays and the Yankees. I think that's one of the biggest rivalries right now brewing in baseball. But now they go ahead and face another division rival in the Baltimore Orioles that are kind of surprising people across baseball right now with their strong start to the season. What have you seen from the Orioles so far this year that's made them so successful?
Yeah, just one super quick thing about the Yankees. unfortunately, we don't get to see them play the Blue Jays again until September 19th. We will have already gotten through 2 weeks of the NFL season by that point. So that seems a little unfair. Kind of sucks, but it's where we're at. As it pertains to the Orioles, I mean, they're just really young and fun, especially on offense. Their rotation is less young and less fun for sure, but Adley Rutschman is the real deal, and Ryan Mountcastle is a certified Blue Jays killer. So look out for him this series. He had a 1,001 OPS at Rogers Center last year in 9 games. So he knows how to hit there, and I guess we'll see what he likes about the new dimensions. But yeah, this Orioles team is really, really good, especially on offense. And with the fact that the Blue Jays aren't hitting very well right now, it'll be kind of interesting to see if they can bounce back and, if the Orioles kind of push them in that regard.
All right, so Jordan wrote an article over at NorthStarBets.ca on tonight's game, and there's a bet that I really like there. Speaking of Mountcastle, over 1.5 bases. Yeah, if you're at -105.
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes to sort of his success in Rogers Center. I watched a decent amount of those games, some from the press box, some from the stands, and it just, the ball, I guess, kind of looked like a beach ball to him there. But it's more than just about the setting and playing baseball in Canada. It's also about the guy throwing him the ball tonight, Kikuchi, and he's done really well against Kikuchi. It's 4 for 9, and all 4 of those hits went for extra bases, 3 of which were home runs. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Mountcastle has been a little up and down this year. He's right around league average for his OPS, but this is just a good spot, I think, to back him.
Yeah, head over to NorthStarBets.ca. Check out the article. There's 2 more bets on there, both at plus money, which I think you'll like. I love a plus money bet, obviously. Chris Bassett, 100-1. Count me in. Jordan, thanks so much for doing this. Let's chat soon, buddy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
All right, thank you. That's Jordan Horrobin of NorthStar Bets.
You could definitely eat 9 hot dogs. I don't know why you're even buying this.
I don't think I can, man.
I think you can.
I feel horrible because I'm drinking beer at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
You're there for what, like 2 and how long baseball games? 2.5, almost 3 hours now.
Well, they're about
before the pitch clock.
Before the pitch clock.
Exactly. Well, they would cut off beers at the 7th inning. When did they cut off food?
I don't know.
Do they ever?
Sean, do they cut off food?
Sean, do they cut off food at the
producer Sean?
No, I don't believe they do. No.
Okay.
I mean, Sean would know.
Yeah, Sean.
He's there a lot.
I've been to 3 games this year. Yeah.
How many hot dogs have you eaten combined at the 3 games?
Hey, well, as you can see behind me, I actually had a hot dog for lunch. I should have cleaned up. I should have cleaned up before. Yes.
Sponsorship opportunity.
Yeah, sorry.
Right
So, no, to be honest, I haven't done a lot because I haven't been doing a loony dog night, so I don't want to pay. I did do the poutine dog. I have another hot dog when I went to another game. I like to try different things. I had jerk chicken nachos. I've had pretzel, popcorn. I've had it all, James.
All in one game.
Yeah. So
he will try anything. I will say that. I've known Sean for a long time. He will try anything when it comes to food.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No,
just food, I think.
He's a warrior, that's for sure. Right? He did try the poutine hot dog, and we had the video. And we
I know.
I will definitely not be trying the poutine hot dog.
You're not going to?
No.
Why not?
It's disgusting, man.
Yeah,
you don't know that until you try it. You can't.
I'm not going to try.
I just saw you. I just literally saw you before we came on air inhale a chicken souvlaki sandwich like it was nobody's business and get tzatziki all over the place.
Didn't even chew.
No, didn't chew. Yeah, you're like a duck. Right down the gullet. You know what I'm saying?